Hello, everyone. Welcome to Royal Black and Elite. I'm Lady TrenettWilson, your lecturer and social historian. I wanted to stop by today because it's a lot of news going out. I mean, it's news every day, all day, it seems to appear. But I wanted to do a comparison today because New York is facing a winter storm, and the winter storm has resulted in 16 people losing their lives as a result of being outside. And the policies that were changed allegedly that kind of facilitated this, and where do they go from here? So I pray for everybody there in New York, but it just seems to me one after the other, New York has been having problems with leadership. So let's start with Zorhan Mamdani. He is the new mayor of New York. He took over this January. He won in November. He beat out Andrew Cuomo, which I don't think anybody had any dreams of him winning, as he had been accused by 13 women of not being too friendly to them, and some of the steps that he took during the pandemic. So there were some things that happened around there that was, people lost their lives. So it was not good. But see, that's the same thing that Mamdani is facing right now. So Cuomo lost, and Mamdani became the mayor. Prior to him, Eric Adams had been mayor. He was the 111th mayor of New York, and he was the mayor from 2022 to 2025. However, he was indicted in September of 24 for conspiracy, wire fraud, bribery, and it was all surrounding something with a Turkish donation, over $100,000 in gifts. So it got ugly real quick. But then all of a sudden, the charges were dropped against him, and his alignment with being a sanctuary city kind of changed. So what did we see? He started working with the administration as far as people who were the immigrants who were there, the illegal, in particular, immigrants. I don't have any problems with legal immigrants, of course. And so the people who were on his side prior to that started turning on against him. And then here comes the charges. So it was just a lot of stuff. But there were other people who did get indicted within his administration. Tony Herbert was indicted in 2026 for bribery. Mohammed Bey in 2025 for witness tampering. Ingrid Lewis for bribery. All this is alleged. It is in the news, but these are the kind of things that Eric Adams' administration, the people in his administration, faced. So New Yorkers kind of was tired. They were looking for hope, and in steps Zorhan Mamdani, a democratic socialist. So what is a democratic socialist? It's a person who's a Democrat who believes in socialist beliefs. What are socialist beliefs? They believe that the government should own everything and disperse it out as they see fit. Why? So that people won't be poor and people won't be needy, and that the dirty capitalists will be brought down to their knees. Unfortunately, when we see this model over and over again all over the world, it never works, because you have to depend on people not being greedy, people not being corrupt. And I'm not saying he is, but all of these things have to be in place. But not only that, you're taxing your richest people out of your city. So who are these people that's going to pay the taxes that's going to cover all of these things? So we see that he said there was going to be free bus tokens and subway tokens. Unfortunately, as soon as he came into office, subway fares went up. So there were just several things that he promised that he is not delivering on. But sadly, the most important thing is he switched a policy of Eric Adams that made the people who were homeless, not be able, and I think they call them unhoused now. People who are unhoused have to leave the street, in particular during inclement weather. So they've gotten, mounds of snow, and Mamdani, because of that switch in that policy, allowed those people to stay on the street. As a result, 16 people passed away. It is sad to know that one policy, one vote, one decision can end 16 people, because if you do not get these people off the street, they will be hurt. And so, New Yorkers, tell me, is it snow on the ground? There's a lot of pictures coming out. The comedian Michael Rappaport came out and did a report, but there's a lot of people also on TikTok talking about how bad the weather is. But not only that, how long the snow is staying on the ground and trash piling up on the snow. That's a mayor's job, to make sure your city is clean, the snow is moved. Now, he came out and gave all these numbers. It's $1 too late and a day too short, in many people's opinion. In addition to that, his mother's linked to Jeffrey Epstein. She was in those files. And so people were picketing out in front of Zorhan Mamdani's home. So it's a lot of things that people paint a picture for you to think that they're a certain way. But you all, when y'all go vote, don't look at this face and think, oh, he's clean cut, he's smiling and saying all the right words. Usually the smoother they are, the more good looking they are, and the more promises they make, the dirtier they are. Now, I'm not saying he's dirty, but there's a lot of dirt going on in New York, as you see in these pictures here and what the people are saying. Does he really care about us? And then he swore in on a Quran, so he's not a believer in Christ. So there is a lot there, y'all. Is judgment on the city of New York. What do y'all think? Y'all talk to me down below. I have friends in New York. I pray for you all. I pray the snow stops. I pray the city gets clean. And you really don't want people to fail. You know, you don't want leadership to fail. But y'all, our vote counts. And they have consequences. And some people right now there in New York are living under the consequences of that vote. So tell me down below, what do you feel? Do you think, oh, this is just a hookup? Or is this a lot of stuff happening back to back for him just to be starting? Y'all tell me down below. I thank you all. You know, we do these black cultural lessons because they talked about the black man. They said he wasn't nothing. He wasn't all of this. But as he smokes this cigar, did he know something we didn't know? So I thank you all for joining me for another great episode of Royal, Black, and Elite. As you know, my lessons are for educational and entertainment purposes only, and the Fair Act use is in effect. Now keep learning. Click down below, like, share, and subscribe. And you all, would you hype this video? You all, you know, if you don't hype, if you don't like, it doesn't get pushed to the algorithm, and people don't discover this great channel and this great information that I'm keeping you abreast of. You know, we talk about culture, we talk about history. And I thank you for being a loyal supporter of Royal, Black, and Elite.